What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Week number 5 of college football is finally here, already here, and it is blowing by, to say the least. A lot to get into in this video. I am that dude. If you are new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe, hit the bell, like this video, comment down below. Question of the day: if you had to pick, would you take Alabama and Clemson to win the national championship, or would you take the rest of the field? And if you're taking the rest of the field, who is your number one team that you think really could win the national championship? So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the video. So to start the video, let's go ahead and jump in and look at our overall record, our record that, our picks last week. We went 3-2. Wisconsin blew out Michigan as we expected, as I thought they would. Washington at -5.5 blew out BYU. We've been on BYU a couple times this year. We jumped off of them at the right time, as I thought we should. Washington looked great. Jacob Eason is looking really good so far this year, and it was an easy cover for the Washington Huskies. One that we missed, UCF. Pittsburgh, I'll give you credit. I thought you were really bad. Maybe you're not as bad as I thought. Pittsburgh had the outright win, beating UCF 35-34. For a little bit in that game, I thought UCF was going to come back. They actually were down, got the lead, were up by like 10. I was like, they're going to cover after all. So, anyways, Central Florida lost. We can all stop talking about them now, that their undefeated streak is over. Good for them. But anyways, Pittsburgh, good for you. Another game that we lost, Washington State, -19.5. They lost 67-63 to UCLA. Their quarterback threw 9 touchdowns and still lost. 9. They were up and covering easily at halftime. I go to bed and wake up and see that UCLA has beat Washington State. Thought it was wrong, and evidently it was not. I don't know what happened, but crazy game. No defense at all in that game. Obviously, with that score, they scored 110 points. That's pretty crazy. I'm sorry, 130 points. That's pretty crazy. And then our last one that we had that covered, Oregon -10.5 over Stanford. We've been on Oregon a lot this year. And when you see the value, you have to take it. And that was definitely a valuable spot, 21-6. And Oregon could have blew them away in that game. They probably should have scored, I would say, at least 17 more points in that game. They missed a field goal, and 2 touchdowns got taken off the board. So that Oregon game, like what I see out of Oregon, and I don't think that they're going to slow down anytime soon. So some of the games that we can look forward to for this week. Our overall record, let me go ahead and say that, 10-8 now overall, 3-2 last week. We're going to continue to keep that trend going up and not down. So let's get into this week's games of the week that I'm looking forward to watching. On Friday, couple good games that could be pretty interesting. Penn State at Maryland. Maryland's coming off of that pretty tough loss against Temple. Penn State is coming off a loss against Pittsburgh. So both these teams are coming out with losses. Penn State has blown out Maryland in the past. Maryland is getting 7 points at home. If I had to lean one way or the other, I would take the home dog getting points, especially getting a touchdown. I think Maryland can score with the best of them. I think their coaches have probably been letting them know that Penn State destroys them each and every year. Maryland, this is a big bounce-back game for them, and I think that they are going to do that. I wouldn't be surprised if Maryland was to get this outright victory in this game. So that's going to be a good game. Another game that I'm looking forward to watching on Friday night is Arizona State versus Cal. Cal, undefeated, just beat Ole Miss. Pretty impressive going across the country, playing early in the morning, their time, and still taking care of business, whether they won outright or not. Terrible clock management on Ole Miss's part, to say the least, in that situation. Cal is laying 4.5 points at home. I think this is going to be a good game. Cal's defense is a lot better than I expected it to be, than I thought it actually was. Watching a little bit of that game in the Ole Miss. So, with that being said, I think if I had to pick one side or the other, I think I would lean getting 4.5 points with Arizona State. We'll see what happens with it. It's going to be a pretty good game. Some of the games that I'm looking forward to watching on Saturday. USC plays Washington. I think it's going to be a really good game. I don't know which quarterback is going to play for USC. I don't think USC knows which quarterback is going to play for them. So it's going to be something to watch, something to keep your eye on. Washington's looked really good so far, and I like what they're doing with that offense. Another game, Mississippi State playing at Auburn. It's going to be a good game. I don't know what Mississippi State's offense is going to look like. I don't honestly know what their defense is going to look like. This is a sketchy spot for Auburn, in my opinion. They've been on a high so far. Bo Nix still hasn't had his real freshman moment, in my opinion. And maybe they're just really good, and I haven't gave them much credit. It was a great win at Texas A&M. I didn't see that coming. But I don't know if Texas A&M is that good, actually. I think that may be one of the things that we start to think about going forward. Mond and that offense, that defense, they were really out of the game before it even started. Another game is Kansas State playing Oklahoma State at Oklahoma State. And it's going to be a game that Mississippi State just got beat by Kansas State as well. And I think that Oklahoma State, if I had to lean one way or the other on this game, Oklahoma State's laying 4 points. That's probably what side I would be on. But I do think it's going to be a good game one way or the other. There's not many top 25 matchups going on this week, so it's tough choosing. And then the game day game of the week for game day. Let's figure it out. Ohio State at Nebraska. One of the bigger games that Nebraska's had in a while. We've seen this over and over again, though. Nebraska has not been able to truly compete in these spots. They're going to be getting 17 points at home. Usually I really like a home dog getting points, especially that many points, especially with a truly Heisman-type quarterback who hasn't really played that well this year. I will say Martinez has been underwhelming. And then Scott Frost, who's a good quarterback. All those things, something to keep in mind. But with that being said, I'm going to talk a little bit about this game later on. And that kind of leads me into my official plays for this video. In this video, I have 5 plays. All of them are the favorites in these games, and we're going to be laying some points this week. I think it's good spots. I think the value is there. So let's go ahead and get into that. Texas Tech at Oklahoma. I'm going to lay the 27 points with Jalen Hurts and the Sooners. I think they're going to beat the doors off of Texas Tech. Yes, I get it. Texas Tech can score and can score a lot of points, but I think that this Oklahoma Sooners defense is pretty good. Not SEC good, but pretty good. And I think Jalen Hurts will be putting up numbers, putting on a show. And they just came off of a bye, so that helps, obviously. So give me Oklahoma laying the 27 points. Another team I like laying 23 points is Iowa. They're going to be playing Middle Tennessee at home. Give me Iowa, and it's really not a hard decision for me. I think Iowa beats them pretty handily. That defensive line of Iowa is the real deal. I think you'll see that this week and weeks going forward. This year, you're going to start to hear a lot of chatter out of that defensive line and how good they really are. So another game that I'm going to be laying a lot of points, Wisconsin minus 23.5. We just picked Wisconsin to win that game against Michigan. Their defense is really good. They really could have beat Michigan even worse. Their defense gave up some points towards the end, but those were just garbage time points, honestly. And they're playing a Northwestern team who played very bad last week. I had some faith. Northwestern was getting 9 points, and truly, they couldn't move the ball one bit. And it was kind of depressing watching the Northwestern team play football. And that is, simply the reason why I'm going to take Wisconsin. Wisconsin's wanting to pour it on this year because they're trying to get in the playoffs essentially, and they know in order to do that, first of all, they're probably going to need to win the conference, and then second of all, they're going to need to win these games with a flying color, looking beautiful, doing it, and that's why I think they're going to blow out Northwestern. Another game, we're going to pick Washington again, laying 10.5 points. Probably get it back down to 10 over USC. Don't know what the quarterback situation is for USC. Don't really know what any situation is with USC. You don't know which team you're going to get. That is a bad thing, but it's also, we can use it in our favor. I think that this line should be more at the 16.5 to 17 point range. That's what I'm seeing this game being. And it could be even worse. So give me Washington laying the 10.5 points. Lay it down to 10 points. And then last but not least, for my last official play is Ohio State. They're going to go in there. Justin Fields, as of right now, is top 2 in the Heisman race for me. And bold prediction for you, I think that Georgia would be better with Justin Fields over Jake Fromm. I get it. Jake Fromm is a game manager. He's a winner, and good dude. But what Justin Fields can do on that field with his arm, with the ball, is truly incredible. If they would have went Justin Fields, they would have had him multiple years after this. Jake Fromm is gone after this year, so that's my take on that whole situation. Jake Fromm's a great dude. I'm a fan of him. Hope nothing but the best for him unless he's playing Alabama. But anyways, Ohio State, I see them going in there, taking care of business, and truly kind of quietening that Nebraska crowd pretty soon. And they're going to be up for this competition. Give me the Buckeyes minus 17 points. 2 more leans that I would say. 2 more teams laying a lot of points. Top 2 teams in the nation right now. Clemson laying 27 at North Carolina. I don't think that's enough for that game. Wouldn't be surprised if Clemson gets up early and probably win by 35 to 42 points in this game. North Carolina hasn't really impressed me at all this year. And then Alabama laying the 38. I think they beat Ole Miss probably by 42 to 45 points. It could get even uglier. Last year, I think they put up 62-ish points, and I don't see that changing this year. They are going to really take care of business early. All the backup quarterbacks are going to get some work, unfortunately. So, that's a lean with the 38, but I would say it's a strong play with getting those first half lines with Clemson and Alabama. So, with that being said, I'll wrap it up and tell you my official plays one more time. Oklahoma minus 27, Iowa minus 23, Wisconsin minus 23.5, Washington minus 10, and then Ohio State at minus 17 points. Those are my official plays of the week. My underdog outright winner, I think I'm going to go ahead and go with Maryland. If they win, it's awesome. If they don't, whatever. I do think they play that game pretty closely, and I think it's going to be a pretty good game. And then, let me know what you think. Let me know some of your locks of the week. Let me know some of your games that you think you may be on the other side of the situation in these. So, appreciate you being here. My lock of the week, if you want a lock of the week, would be Wisconsin beating Northwestern by 24 points. So, that's all I got for you. Appreciate you coming back. As always, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next week. Peace.